What times are we living in? If the Bible was written that long ago, I'll tell you, approximately 1,500 years ago, the Bible was written. Where do we fall in? If it has the beginning and it has the end and everything in between, then that means we have to be somewhere within that story. Because God takes us from the beginning, before we were here, to the end, how it all would end. Jesus' return, everything. So that means I have to be somewhere along that path of the Bible. I'm alive, I'm a Christian, like I have to be somewhere in that Bible. I spoke to people who are more informed than me, study this, who have prophetic gifts. Hold on. And my instinct, my gut was right. We're in Revelations. Ding, ding, ding. And whoever said that, you're more connected to God than you realize. We live in Revelations. So that means you need to read Revelations and see where we're at and get your information so you understand how to maneuver in this world right now. What helps me is to know that God says, when you see these things happening around you, my children, do not fear. That is the most powerful thing you could take from Revelations, because it is scary what's going on right now. You can see the connection. I remember growing up, and my dad told me one time we were at the airport, and we were looking at planes take off. And my dad used to tell me about spiritual stuff, all the time. And he was like, Donnie, the Bible talks about the signs of the end time. And he was like, the weather, you won't be able to tell the weather, and when it's hot, it'll be cold. When it's cold, it'll be hot. It'll be weather and things like that. He named a bunch of stuff. And what's crazy is that you can see that kind of thing happening now. You can see the things that the Bible talks about. Let me see, signs of the end times. Hold on. Bible verse. Okay. The primary biblical passage details signs of the end times is Matthew 24, 6-7, which describes a period of increasing wars and rumors of wars, nations rising against nations, famines, and earthquakes. Other significant passages include Luke 21, 25-26, which mentions signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and 2 Timothy 3, 1-5, which points to a time of difficult and self-centered people who are lovers of pleasure rather than God. Matthew 2 and 24, 6-7, warfare. Nations will rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. Check. Widespread food shortages and shortages will occur. Let me say it again, because that two shortages got me. Widespread food shortages and shortages will occur. We can check off famine, because we got some right now in other countries right now that are suffering from war. They're having famine. So that's a check. And for Revelation. Earthquakes, been earthquake after earthquake, where it's not 50 people or a small amount of people. It's hundreds, thousands at a time, back-to-back earthquakes. To where I've noticed, like, why is there so many people? Why is nobody making a big deal about the massive amount of people who have been dying from these earthquakes? It's biblical. Disease. Well, we all know we just came out of a major one. So check. Other signs, religious deception. Many will come claiming to be Christ and will deceive many people. Check.